there. Boston has entered the chat. Travis Thomas, Khalin Kapoor. We welcome you all to Boston has entered the chat. In fact, come chat with us, won't you? 617-790-0928. That's a Boston has entered the chat hotline. Make it bling. Leave us your messages. We play them all the time. You can also email us, thechat@nesson.com. You can also tweet us. We got all the business, Cullen. You know we're interactive. We try to bring them in, my man.
Oh, yeah, we want to hear from you. We got some great stuff to talk about today. Championship parades, championship previews. Let's have some fun.
I love it. All right, let's start with what's trending around sports, with what has caught our eye, Cullen. Did you see this? Jimmy Butler just passing out money to fans after winning $123,000 in a celebrity poker event. Clearly, Cullen, I'm doing it all wrong because I've never won any. I haven't even won $123, let alone $123,000. Wow. And then my man wins and he's just passing out hundies like nobody's business, Cullen.
Yeah, I wish I was there. I wish I was the one in that video receiving some of that money. But I will say, Butler's winning $123K in poker, but he did lose the NBA in the NBA playoffs. So, you know what? I'd rather be the Celtics in this situation.
I'm the guy in the background. We're at a battle rap right now. You just dropped that bar, and I just went, oh! I love it. So he won this weekend for sure. He was passing out money, but to Cullen's point, he was a loser on the court this season, so hold that L. How about this? The Patriots released video from the behind the scenes of Tom Brady getting his Patriots Hall of Fame ring during his Hall of Fame weekend ceremony. So now, I mean, look, Cullen, you know this. This guy is already the Lord of the Rings. I mean, he has all the rings on earth, and now he collects yet another Infinity Stone. Like, he gets another one from the Patriots, a Hall of Fame ring now. I mean, this guy's ring collection is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, cameos from Edelman and Gronk there. And one thing I saw on social media about the Hall of Fame ceremony at Gillette was that fans packed that ceremony and they packed TD Garden for a Celtics watch party. Boston just does it all, packing arenas for things that aren't even actual games that are live, yet they still pack the arenas for the GOAT, and they did it for the Celtics in that watch party.
That's why it's the best sports town in America, man. I mean, it's not even games, and people are showing up, packing houses in their cities all over this country. You can't get anyone there for playoff games, let alone some sort of ceremony to honor a player. So kudos to Tom Brady. That was a big-ass ring, too, Cullen, as you saw there. A lot of bling-bling there. Speaking of bling-bling and championships, how about this? We're now in the post-Celtics championship parade era, my friend, and yours truly was in the house. Cullen, I was melting out there. I was melting, but I was in the house, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I think for you it could be called the post-championship parade haze, potentially.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, I was seeing everything on social media. I was seeing what you were posting about the parade, and I was like, man, I've been in school in Boston. I've been here for a while. Have yet to see a parade. The Celtics win it. I'm over here in Wisconsin. Like, what am I doing? But I mean, it seemed like such a relief and such a fun event. Obviously, any parade will be. But Travis, I got to ask you first things first, right off the rip. Over under. I'm going to set the line at 5.5 drinks. Over under that line.
I mean, listen, I'll be honest with you. I want to get to some pictures and some video here as I answer this. I went under that number, but here's what I did. It was strategic. I went under the number, but I was drinking hard stuff. But Cullen, I opted to drink hard stuff because I thought to myself, if I pound beers today, I know I'm going to need to use the restroom a lot. And just from like looking around, I didn't see a ton of porta potties. Like the most you had to do, you had to go into a bar and ask to use a bathroom. And there was way too much police presence to use a bathroom anywhere else, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. I didn't want to go like in the bars. It was just mayhem in there. Let's get to some of these pictures and the video from the parade. But Cullen, I opted to drink hard liquor, which made me sweat Even worse, in 100-degree temperature. These are pictures I took. So this was a great sign of Derek White with no teeth, with saying the Celtics win. That was fantastic work there. He saw it too. Where I was standing, I was in the Boston Commons parade route, and I was right there. I was with my esteemed producer, Ante Campbell, from Hold My Banner, and we saw that sign, took a picture of it, and then we stood close to this guy when the parade route started, and on Derek White's float, he saw the sign and pointed to it and was laughing. So that was a great moment. It was just great. All these pictures, I'm actually kind of impressed that I had enough wherewithal to take these decent pictures. That's Jaylen Brown.
And this one is great.
Yeah, with his NBA Finals trophy. He was having fun. Jason Tatum was really hype. He was probably the most hype of the players that I saw. That's Jason Tatum over there holding the trophy up high. And it was cool, man. It was Cullen, the atmosphere was love, man. Like, it was actually – I saw reports where it was 1 million people or 1.5 million. I got to tell you, it felt every bit of it, but it felt very tame. It felt very like controlled chaos to me. There was no drama. I didn't see any fights or any foolishness. Everyone was just happy and acting like they had been there before. There's Leon Poe with the trophy and the truth, Paul Pierce, who was absolutely turned up to the max. No doubt in my mind, Paul Pierce was drinking the same stuff I was. He was fired up. But it was great, Cullen. Like, I had a lot of fun. I also saw a Kyrie Irving Duke jersey getting stomped out mercifully, which I loved. Here it is. So if this was a Celtics jersey, just to be clear, Cullen, I would have kept walking. I wouldn't have paid any mind to this. But when I saw it was a Duke Kyrie jersey, I felt, being a Marylander, Cullen, I felt a certain rage inside of me.
Oh, yeah.
That I wanted to participate and be a part of that. So I appreciated that. And by the way, this is PG-13. I just got the people stomping and kicking it. There were far worse. You could see a little bit of, you could see some moisture down there on the ground, can't you, Cullen? It was... It was some other things going on to that jersey.
Yeah.
I also heard a bunch of F. Kyrie chants at the parade, which I also appreciated. So just want to throw that in there. But it was great. But, yeah, I'll disappoint you a little bit on the under with the drinks, but it was because of what I was drinking. It was no joke. It was when you drink tequila in 100-degree weather, Colin, like you really got to have a lot of passion for Boston sports to be able to do that, my friend.
Absolutely, Travis. I got one more for you because I'm feeling some FOMO over here because I wasn't at the parade. I wasn't in Boston. I know you were not. You love your fits. You love talking about the clothes. I got to ask either Celtics fans or the players any exciting fits that you saw on the parade route.
Yeah, I mean, I learned this after the fact because even though we were close, I think between the tequilas that I had and it being 100 degrees and surrounded by millions of people, like the heat was just pretty much unbearable. So I don't even know if I could make out T-shirts at that time, but I did see in hindsight that Al Horford had a pretty badass, like Tom Brady being hammered at a parade shirt. All I saw from Al was like a cowboy. There it is. I saw that cowboy hat. He was on the first float, period, to lead the parade off, and everyone lost their minds, including me. And then, obviously, I think Jaylen Brown's fits were nice, too. I think he had something like state your sources. So the shirts that these guys were wearing, later in hindsight, I learned were pretty cool. But in the moment, no, it was just really, Cullen, just what you would think, a sea of green. I mean, it was – I don't have any Celtics gear, but I had on some green shorts that day, and I felt like I could fit in just fine. But it was a sea of green everywhere for the eye to see. You saw Brad Stevens there on that float. I just want to say for the record, he had the most boring float in the history of parades. It was, I mean, he looked like an accountant. He just gave you a standard wave that you just saw there, and that was it. There's a ton of this. People climbing up on the light poles, hanging out. The cops, I was very impressed with the police here because the police would let you party. They'd let you be up there. I'm sure this kid waving this flag They let him do this for a while. And then they said, all right, bro, get down. And, people were like, because you gave him a little bit of freedom and let him turn up, people were more apt to get down. No one got mouthy with the cops or any of that nonsense. I guarantee you they let him do this, and then they told him, all right, man, get your skinny butt down. And he did. So I saw this happen all day. And it was different cops patrolling too, and all of them, you could tell it was like a directive that they got, like, let people party as long as it's not too insane, and then bring some order back to it. But that was really my biggest takeaway, to be honest with you, outside of being hot as hell, was like how it has to be because Boston's used to it, but it was just so tame. It was so controlled. The people knew how to act. The cops knew how to deal with the people. It was fantastic. Like, it was, you know what it felt like, Cullen? I'm sure you've been to one of these. It was almost like going to a music festival.
Sure.
Where, like, at a music festival, it is crowded, but everything's spread out. You could smell everything going on in the air. You could see the drinks, right? You could see the drinks being consumed. So people are wasted. But there's no drama. It's all love. Everyone's just there vibing. And in that case, it's to music. In this case, it was to the Celtics, right? But I walked through the Commons at one point. It was just it kind of gave me like almost like a Woodstock vibe almost. It was very peaceful and loving and just fans coming together to cheer for their team. And I felt really fortunate, to be honest with you, Cullen, to be there. I really did. I felt lucky.
Yeah, and you said like it felt like it was all love, and I think that's kind of what it all comes down to with the Woodstock vibe of it, or whatever you think. So it looked like a really great thing to be a part of. I wish I myself was able to be a part of that, but happy that you got to be there and see that championship firsthand. I'm still waiting for my first parade. Back in DC, I missed both the Caps and the Nats parades. I wasn't in town for either of them, so still waiting for that first one.
This is my third one. I mean, you mentioned those two. This is my third one. My first one in Boston. And it was really cool. And to be honest with you, I think this team's going to be back there next year. So you'll have an opportunity. You're going to have to clear your calendar ahead of time because I think they're going to repeat. Now, if you were at the parade, we want to hear from you. 617-790-0928. Leave us some voicemails. You can also email me, the chat@nesson.com. You can also tweet us. Let's get to these tweets from the parade, Cullen, because a lot of this stuff, I was able to fill in the blanks that I had in my mind after the fact, thanks to Twitter. So let's go to some of these. How about this? Derek White just rolling around, high-fiving everyone. I mean, this is my guy Justin Turpin here. I work with him at WEEI. Great dude. Derek White just walking around clearly feeling great, doing fine, on cloud nine. Shaking hands, high-fiving, kissing babies, living his best championship life, Cullen. You got to love it.
Absolutely. He's a man of the people. Looks like he's floating, just walking around. No security, no nothing, no entourage, just Derek White and the fans. That's a great video. That's what makes Boston and this kind of thing so special is that, Joe Mazzulla was walking in the North End with the NBA Finals trophy, and Derek White's just chilling out there. He's obviously having a great time. That shirt also is amazing, the Nobody Cares shirt. So yeah, that's a great video.
He clearly got his teeth fixed, too. He was cheesing all parade long to show people that his teeth were back in place. Now, our esteemed producer, Brendan, told me about this kid. So I guess this kid, since he was little, has been going to these championship parades and, marking his territory. And so now he's 22 years old, and he's been to 13 parades. Jeez. So there he is. He's called the Sign Kid. So there he is, Sign Kid, spotted in the wild here from Adam Kaufman, Cullen. What a life for this kid, huh?
Yeah, what a life. Guess what? I'm also 22 years old, and I have been to 0 parades, so I got a lot of catching up to do with Sign Kid. But Boston sports, just so an amazing run in this 2000s century or whatever it's called, millennia. Right. That's amazing for the Boston fans out there, for us covering the teams. It's really cool. Just seeing the 2 Celtics on there now, the 4 Red Sox. Let's get one more for the Bruins, and then and then we can make it a clean 14 parades.
I believe that's him right there in that white hat. All right, here we go. Jaylen Brown, he's putting out PSAs, Colin. He lost. He lost this ring. Now, this obviously is not the Celtics championship ring, but it's pretty nice bling bling there. He lost this, and he's looking for some help here. He's offering rewards, the whole nine. I got to tell you, I didn't find any rings or anything like that, but if I did find this ring, although I am a Jaylen Brown fan, Cullen, I just want it to be known for the record, he would not be getting this ring back. I would be going to a pawn shop and taking the cash. Thank you very much.
Yeah, is this like a Tom Brady jersey situation going on here? Like, did someone sneak into the float, take the ring off, and like escape? I don't know. But I don't know, Travis. You'd rather take the reward from the pawn shop than the reward from Jaylen Brown himself. I think I'd try to reach out to the Celtics and to Brown and to get that reward from the source. I think, and maybe I can get tickets to the game or something like that. I don't know. Could be cool.
Yeah, that's true. You throw in some tickets there, I guess. I just feel like the way my mind works, I could get more on the black market. All right, let's go to let's go to the craziness now. I did not witness this in person, but clearly this kid had the over on the drink total that you set. My man is diving. He is belly flopping in the fountain here, Cullen. Clearly, this does not look good for your health. It could have gone left for him.
Yeah, at the very least, it was a jump and not a fall. So at least there was some kind of premeditated decision-making there for this fan. But this is amazing, right? You're at the parade. You're like, hey, why don't I just, jump off a fountain? Would I specifically do this? I don't know, because I value my physical health, but you know what? There is something to be said about having so much of a good time that you're like, hey, let me climb up this fountain and then jump off.
Yeah, he was having a good time. Then I'll leave it with this one. So someone had a sign that said Deuce has more rings than Joel Embiid, and look at Jason Tatum like, yeah, you're damn right he does. Woo!
Yeah, any opportunity I have to kick the Sixers and Philly as a whole while they're down, I will take that opportunity. So, yes, I absolutely love this tweet, 100%.
For those of you out there who would suggest that Deuce does not have a ring, you would be incorrect, because you know damn well Jason Tatum has donated that ring to Deuce, and Deuce is the most – he's so spoiled, Cullen. Like, this kid, I mean, he has it all, man. What a life for young Deuce, and I still think he's going to get another ring next year as well. By the way, for more parade talk, check out Hold My Banner. It's on Nesson's YouTube page, Facebook, Twitch, wherever you get your podcast. Also, make sure you follow us on all your social media accounts for all of our best content. So a time was had, Cullen. It was so fun. I'm so glad I got to be a part of it, man, and so glad I had a chance to share some pictures with you and some video as well. So good stuff. Just make sure you clear your calendar for next year, because I do believe this team will run it back. And do remember, if you were at the parade, 617-790-0928 is our hotline. You can also email us, thechat@nesson.com. By the way, tweet us. You see, we get to them every time. All right, now it's time. Sound the trumpets. Release the doves. Game 7 tonight, the quest for Lord Stanley's Cup. Cullen, you are a hockey guy to your core. I need to know, who do you got tonight? Because I am looking at remarkable, unbelievable, otherworldly numbers on this stuff. The Oilers have come back from down 3-0 in a series of forced Game 7, we know. In NHL history, Cullen, over 200 times a team has been down 3-0 in the best of 7. 10 times a team has forced a Game 7, including the Oilers here, right? Of those 10, only 4 have made a team. Only 4 times have a team won that Game 7. The 2014 Kings, 2010 Flyers, who it was against the Bruins. Sorry. 75 Islanders. 1942 Wayback Machine, Maple Leafs. Cullen, get this. Toronto's the only team in the major North American sports leagues to complete a 3-0 comeback to win a championship series. I mean, this is remarkable stuff I just read to you. With all that being said, I mean, bro, you taking the oil?
Oh my! I mean, look, my initial prediction, right? If you remember back to the start of the Stanley Cups, was Panthers in 6. That
Yes.
looked like it was going to be Panthers in 4 a week ago.
Yes.
The Panthers have this thing locked down, locked
Yes.
and loaded 1 week ago, and then the Oilers just a masterclass in resilience these past 3 games, and it's been a complete identity and mindset shift throughout this series.
Yes.
And you have to think like the Oilers in 2 of their 3 losses in these Stanley Cups in Game 1 and in Game 3, by and large, they played like the better team. They outshot the Panthers. They had better high-danger scoring opportunities. But the difference maker, like I talked about in our previous episode, was Sergei Bobrovsky, that he was the best goaltender. He was the best player, the odds-on favorite for the Conn Smythe in the first 3 games. And then the Oilers started taking it to him. Bobrovsky in the past 3 games, a save percentage that's around .780. And a lot of that has to do with the Oilers' offense exploiting the gaps in the Panthers' defense, either in transition, either on the power play. A big part of that is Connor McDavid being the best playoff scorer, one of the best since Wayne Gretzky's playoff runs back in the olden days. So I think this is a long-winded answer because I'm really not sure at this point, and I think in my heart of hearts that the Panthers are going to lock this down. And that was my original prediction. I had the Panthers winning from the start, even though they lost these 3 games in a row. I don't think Bobrovsky loses this one. I think the Panthers finish the job, but it's going to take a lot, and so much has gone wrong for them. The power play has been atrocious. They've scored 5 goals in their past 10 periods. The Oilers' defense has been really, really strong. Evan Bouchard has been a fantastic offensive defender for Edmonton. But I just think that 3-0 deficit, even though it's been erased, I don't know. It's a gut feeling for me that the Panthers are going to take this one. And I think it's going to come down to Bobrovsky regaining that form. I think, Matthew Tkachuk and Carter Verhaeghe are going to start scoring here in this series. But look, at the end of the day, what a comeback by Edmonton to get to this point. They were dead and buried a week ago, and yet here they are, and that's super impressive. McDavid is steering the ship. Connor Brown and Leon Draisaitl doing well. Also, I mentioned Bouchard and Stuart Skinner, to his credit. The past 3 games, he's given up just 5 total goals, save percentage around .930 total in those games. He has really retaken the reins at this position from Sergei Bobrovsky. So this is a long-winded answer, and I'm really kind of going back and forth myself, but the gut feeling is that the Panthers take this one and they win the Cup.
I'm going to tell you, as your friend, it almost sounds like you're trying to talk yourself into it. You know why? Because, look, I had the Panthers in 5 games, and both you and I both look like geniuses early on in this series.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. And I was just waiting for the Panthers to close it out.
Yeah, I mean, but listen, it's somewhere along the way, I almost think when it got to 6 games, before Game 6 even, I think I started changing my mind. And listen, I only say it almost sounds like you're talking yourself into it because you predicted Panthers. So I think you want to be right, and I understand that. But listen, that says a lot about your character. Me, I will flip on you. I will flip a coin. I'll be heads or tails depending on the day. And what happened, once Connor McDavid woke up, I was like, uh-oh, now we got real issues. I'm at the point, Colin, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to give you a statement into a question here. I just don't know now what the Panthers can do defensively. I think in other words, like, you've released the Kraken. Like, there's no looking back now. Like, Connor McDavid has been unleashed. It is on. He's a damn dragon from Game of Thrones flying around, frying your town. Like, there's nothing you can do. It's over. Like, the best thing you could do was keep him, contained. Because once he's out, it's a wrap. I think the Oilers win this, which brings me my question. I'm deferring to you here, the hockey guy. What the hell can the Panthers do? Because listen, from where I'm sitting, I think McDavid goes out in Game 7 tonight and closes a show. I really do. I don't feel as though, I think the mental aspect of being up 3-0 and now you see yourself in a Game 7 has to just be debilitating. And I also feel like he is that dude who can just, he's already taken over the series here in a Game 7 for his legacy, for as great as he is. He needs this Game 7, and he knows it, and he means business. So I ask you, like, what can the Panthers do defensively to stop him or anyone on that damn Edmonton offense, Khalin?
Yeah, you look throughout the entire playoffs, and Florida's hallmark has been an all-around commitment to defense, and that has been whether it's Barkov on Artemi Panarin, or it's against David Pastrnak for the Boston Bruins, or Nikita Kucherov for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I thought coming into the series, I was like, okay, obviously McDavid is in a class above those three players, but there should be a way for this defense to do gap control, to tighten up, punch him to the outside, not let him dice and slice. And it's McDavid, and I think I just severely underestimated what McDavid would bring against the Panthers, because their hallmark was that suffocating style of defense. And then Sergei Bobrovsky comes in and makes the key saves, and he did that in those first three games when the Oilers were still trying to figure things out. But I think a key aspect of this was head coach Chris Knobloch for Edmonton switching up the line combinations midway through the series. He put Warren Foegele up with Leon Draisaitl, and that unlocked Draisaitl a little bit more in Game 6. And Draisaitl himself is kind of saying he's not loving the way he's playing in this series. So, you know what? I think you're kind of right that I'm trying to talk myself out of Florida into Edmonton here, because it's so tough for a team. And I mean, look, we saw with the Celtics that they came down from down 3-0, and they ended up losing that game, obviously. So maybe that's informing my decision making. But look, at the end of the day, defensively for the Panthers, they just have to find what they were doing in the first three games. It was collapsing down on McDavid whenever he had the puck. It was, if he has the puck and he's skating, you got to get physical with him, and you can't just let him just dice around. And Sam Bennett and Matty Tkachuk are guys that can do that. But McDavid is just so fast. He's so quick. He's so deceptive with his edge work and with his movements, even when he has three players around him. That's what makes McDavid so special. And he is the game breaker. And at the end of the day, it's probably going to come down to a slugfest here in Game 7. Can the Florida offense also wake up? Can Verhaeghe score his first goal since Game 1? Can Sam Reinhart and Matthew Tkachuk and Sam Bennett and Alexander Barkov actually start scoring goals against Stuart Skinner? And these are a lot of ifs for the Panthers, because they just haven't shown anything offensively or defensively or on the special teams in the past three games. And that's what it comes down to. So what can they do defensively? It has to be a retainment of that all-out commitment to defense, collapsing on McDavid whenever he has the puck. And if it does come with the sacrifice of transition opportunities, you're just going to have to take that on the defensive side of the puck, because you cannot let McDavid beat you here in Game 7.
Which fan base hurts the most from a Game 7 loss? So, because listen, I see both sides.
It's got to be the Panthers.
Well, yeah, but if you think about this, right? So historically, everyone's laughing at you, right? If you lose this, literally, we just gave you the numbers. Like, you made history, you're a loser. But I also, if the Oil lose it, boy, those fans really have to be crushed, because, man, you brought us all this way just to lose in 7. I mean, I guess, maybe there's a slight moral victory in that, hey, you guys fought hard and got it to 7, right? But I just, if I'm a fan there, I feel like I'd be crushed equally if they lose in 7. You brought me all this way and brought me hope that we could get this done, Khalin.
I think there's 2 points that take it in the favor of the Panthers. The first of which is that this game is in Sunrise, Florida. If the Panthers lose, that adds another element to things. The second thing, Travis, is that the Panthers did this last season, and they lost last season. So there's another element here of the back-to-back Stanley Cup Final losses. There's the element you just mentioned of being up 3-0, having the kill shot ready to be taken, and you just don't do it. And then there's the element of this happening at home. For the Oilers, they have the entire weight of the country of Canada on their shoulders. There is that part of things. But I think for the Panthers, it would be a little bit more crushing on the fan base side, because it happened last year. They had the team. It felt like the team of destiny when they were up 3-0. And if it doesn't come to pass, that one would be an absolute killer for Florida.
All right, let's talk Conn Smythe. I mean, do we really even need to talk it? It's Connor McDavid. Yes. Win or loss. Yes.
You know what? I think it will be Connor McDavid, win or loss. This is just a me thing. I don't like the idea of the losing team player winning the Conn Smythe. I just don't. I mean, if you're the most valuable player should win, should be the winner. And obviously, McDavid, the points are out of this world. I think it's like 42 in 24 games up to this point, something absurd. But if the Panthers do win, it probably will still go to McDavid.
Yeah,
I just don't love the idea of that, because if you're the most valuable player, you should lead your team to victory, right? That's just how I feel about it. So at the end of the day, the NHL is probably going to give this to McDavid no matter what. If the Panthers win, they don't have an all-out superstar forward that's been driving them to this point. Right. So it would probably be Sergei Bobrovsky if it does go to a Panther, if the Panthers win this series.
Bro, there's 5 players from the losing team in history to win the Conn Smythe. So he would be in rarefied air. I'm looking at the odds here. I mean, Connor McDavid, you're not making any kind of money betting on him. No. But the next favorites here, Barkov, 12-1, Bob. Jeez, Bob 100-1 seems kind of crazy to me, bro. Like, if they
fell
win
apart
this,
the last 3 games.
I know, but could you see a scenario where if he stands on his head tonight and they blank McDavid and they blank, let's say they win 3-0 and he's the star of the game.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I mean, boy, that price looks pretty good. Kachuk 100-1. I mean, there are other guys here. But Connor McDavid, just for the record, is minus 5,000.
It's crazy.
Yeah, translation, he's going to win it, Khalin.
Yeah, and I think the point you made about Bobrovsky is a good one. I just think, like, I would rather Bobrovsky win it if he blanks a 35-save shutout. McDavid gets held, to 1 shot on goal and no points, whatever it is.
Yes.
I just don't think the NHL is going to do that. I think they want McDavid to get his flowers on the big stage no matter what. Yeah. I do think from the athlete's perspective, like, how would McDavid feel about getting the Conn Smythe and not winning the Stanley Cup? I feel like he probably wouldn't be, like, ecstatic about that, like, because his team lost.
I mean, you bring up a good point about the league wanting Connor McDavid to get that Conn Smythe. I'm not saying it's fixed, but I'm saying if they want Connor McDavid to get the Conn Smythe without controversy, just watch the officiating tonight, Colin. It could be,
there you go.
It could be some Edmonton calls.
Yeah, put the oil on the power play.
Right, right. All right, so let's do this. Official. It's on tonight, baby. I need who wins, final score, player of the game. Give me it all.
Oh, my God. You're putting me on the spot here because I'm feeling like you, Travis. I'm kind of like flip-flopping about this now.
You want me to go first?
No, I'm going to stick with what I said originally.
Right.
I'm sticking with it. I'm putting my foot down for the Panthers. I think the Panthers win. Bobrovsky finds his final form again. I don't think it's going to be a shutout. I'd say it's 3-2 the final. Doesn't go into overtime. The Oilers score a goal with the extra attacker late. They make it really, really close, but the Panthers, with the edge of their seats, they get the win and finally get that cup.
What was your score?
3-2.
Ooh, there's only really been one game in this series that's looked like that, and it was Game 1. Florida dominated 3-0, shut them out. Game 2, Florida won 4-1. Game 3, Florida won 4-3. So now Edmonton's starting to figure out how to score on them, right? And then
it was the 8-1.
Then it was the 8-1 for Edmonton, 5-3 in Game 6 or Game 5, and then or Game 6, and then 5-1 in the last game. So, boy, Edmonton's figured out that scoring. I'm going Edmonton, bro. I'm changing my pick. I'm gonna go Edmonton 5-3, and I think McDavid gets 2. I think he's gonna put a real bow on this. That I'm the best in the world. This is my cup. This is my time. I can't believe the Panthers are going to lose 2 Stanley Cup Finals back to back. But I think we're watching it happen. I'm going McDavid here. 5-3.
And this is an interesting conversation, right? If the Oilers do pull this one off, that's up there in terms of the best comebacks in sports history, not just NHL history, in sports history. The way the sport of hockey works with the best of 7 format and the toll that 7 hockey games takes on the body throughout an entire series and an entire playoff run, being down 3-0 and coming up and winning that Game 7, I would put that if not the top 3, that could be number 1 if Edmonton pulls this one off.
I was going to ask you that. If Edmonton can do this, where would it rank all time on your list? And what is number 1 as of now on your list?
I think, best comebacks in sports, the one that kind of rings the most for me, it's a Boston one. It's the Bruins against the Maple Leafs. And this wasn't even the Stanley Cup Final, Travis. This was a playoff series. But there's a couple of reasons why this rings true for me. One, it was obviously the 3 goals in the third late in the game. But as a play-by-play announcer myself, Jack Edwards' call of the final goal when Patrice Bergeron takes the knife out of the hands of Toronto and kills the beast, that is just seared into my mind. I don't know if that's the greatest comeback in the history of sports, but it is one that really rings true for me. As a Bostonian here for this show, I really, really like that one.
Bro, I'm going to the Super Bowl. That 28-3. I like, Khalin, I have PTSD from that Super Bowl only because I was an idiot and bet on the Falcons. By the way, for the record, I have never since, nor will I ever, bet on the Falcons again. Like, it literally changed the way I bet. Khalin, I have never bet on that franchise again, and I don't see me doing it. And
no Michael Penix passing touchdown lines for you this year.
And what really ticked me off, Khalin, was like, I was right. I came into the game saying, I think the Falcons' speed is going to be the difference. They're too fast for the Patriots. The Patriots still play that old style. You know, they want a low-scoring defensive game. You know, Belichick, and then Brady kills you at the end. That's not what the Falcons do. The Falcons were very much so greatest show on turf-isk. They had weapons everywhere. Matt Ryan was MVP. I mean, they had it all cooking. And I thought coming in, the speed would be too much, and I thought coming in the Falcons would blow the Patriots out, Cullen. And the first half, I don't know why I did it. I was having a Super Bowl party, and I thought, me and 2 other of my drinking buddies, I thought it would be smart to take shots after every touchdown.
Jeez.
That was a mistake. So by the time halftime rolled around, I had nothing left in the tank. I passed out. Like, I was done. And the last memory,
that's the over on the drinks line.
Oh yeah, that one was way over. and by the way, I wasn't smart like I was at the parade, Cullen. At the parade, I stuck with one thing, pounded waters, and I was good. At this party, if it was in front of my face, Cullen, I was drinking it. That was a problem. So the last thing I remember from the game was Lady Gaga jumping from the roof at halftime to start her halftime performance. I ain't a Gaga guy, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to catch a little nap here, and I'll wake up for the second half, except I did
Oh, my goodness.
I woke up to the greatest comeback ever, and everyone telling me you're a moron, and you missed it. Cullen, I had to watch it the next day on NFL Network when they replayed it. I couldn't believe it, and I still can't believe it. I'm scarred for life from that Super Bowl.
Oh my! That story is insane. Jeez, I remember everything about that Super Bowl. I was watching it. I remember the Lady Gaga performance, and I remember just thinking to myself, "Oh my God, the Patriots are going to do it again," and that they did. I mean, that's probably the pick, honestly, until this Edmonton game. If they do pull it off, that is, especially here in Boston, that will be the pick probably 99 times out of 100. Maybe we'll talk about this in a second. The Red Sox in the ALCS against the Yankees. There's so much in Boston that you can go to because of the storied sports history. But that 28-3 is tough to beat.
Bro, I actually, and now that I'm here, it's funny too because one of my buddies is a Giants fan, and he texted me a couple weeks ago. This was recent, and he was like, how you like in Boston? I said, man, I love it. It's all good. And then he goes, well, ask those Patriots fans if they're over the David Tyree catch yet.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Cullen, here's how you know I've been here for a while now, because I immediately came back at him and I said, well, actually, Jules' catch against the Falcons was better.
Yeah. Yep, more impactful probably. I mean, in the course of the game, sure.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you don't have that comeback without that Jules catch and all the moments in that. But you also, I'll say this, with Brady, when you're dealing with Brady, you could probably put together a greatest hits list, Cullen. I mean, you could put together great. Now, that's up there, no doubt. But you could put together a greatest comebacks from Tom Brady throughout his career as well. I mean, he's had so many storied ones of those. You could obviously do that. All right, I'll leave you with this. What would be the bigger comeback? Because we're talking about the Oilers here. If they can do this and get into that history that I gave you of all those teams, if they can pull that off, or would you still roll with, because you brought this up, that 04 Red Sox team coming back down 3-0 to the Yankees? Which one would be higher on the pecking order in your mind?
I think overall, just because the Oilers this is the Stanley Cup and the Red Sox was the ALCS, right. I go with the Oilers. I will say the history involved with the Red Sox going after this and then sweeping the World Series right after that. This was the first time in MLB history a team that had gone down 3-0 had won the series. Yeah. So there's the history aspect there. But I do think on the Oilers side, this is the Stanley Cup. This is also to end Canada's Stanley Cup drought if they do it. This is to knock down the Panthers for the second straight year if they do it. I think the history part of it being the Stanley Cup, and I'll stake this. I think winning the Stanley Cup is the toughest thing to do in professional team sports. So I think that winning that Stanley Cup down 3-0 would be more impressive.
I don't know about toughest just because I didn't play hockey, so what do I know? But I've always said this, Khalin. I think the best postseason in sports is hockey. I'll give you that. I think in terms of excitement, exhilarating, also puck luck to a certain extent. Like, a goalie gets hot, you can ride that to a Stanley Cup win, really, quite frankly. Like, you can win the Stanley Cup if a goalie gets hot. We've seen that happen time and time again. An injury here, a literal puck bounce here or there, a bad call. I mean, we saw a bad call along the route for the Bruins this postseason. Like, a lot of this stuff can really change the fortune of your playoff run, and I don't know if that's the case in the NBA or in the NFL or MLB. So I don't know about toughest trophy to win. You may be right. I've never thought that. I've thought more like who has the best postseason, and for my money, it's the NHL. I don't even think it's close. With that being said, though, and I hear you. You make some great points on the Oil. I'm still going to go Red Sox only because – obviously, the curse, as you mentioned, the Yankees, that aspect of it, the rivalry. But also, I wasn't even here and I thought this. I felt like that was the World Series. I felt like whoever won that series, whether it be the Yankees hold on or Red Sox come back and win it, I still remember to this day, even though I wasn't here, I still remember Kevin Millar being like, don't let us get one, and that team getting that confidence. I think everyone at that time probably felt like the winner of that series is going to go hot knife through butter through the World Series. And that's what happened. So because of that, because you make a good point, like this is the final, right, for the Oil. Yeah. But because of those stakes, that curse, that team, those damn Yankees, I'll go 04 Red Sox here. But it's a fascinating debate, right? I almost feel like there should be some sort of poll that people can vote on or something, because if the Oil can pull it off, that's got to be up there, Cullen. You're right.
And I think so. And that's the kind of thing where the NHL, the MLB, like that's the beauty of a 7-game series. Yes. And that's the beauty. And obviously in football, you can't have the 7-game series. It's just not possible. Yeah. And the Super Bowl is kind of the game 7 of the entire playoffs and of the entire season. So there is an extra level of excitement to that. But I do really love, and I said this before the playoffs started, this series for the Stanley Cup is going to be so much fun. It's going to be so exciting. We're going to see McDavid dominate on the biggest stage. And we've seen all of that. All that's left is for him to finish the job. I'm kind of hoping the Panthers get it just so my prediction doesn't get trashed out there. But you know what? I think no matter what happens, no matter who wins, this is going to be thrilling, and it's going to be a conclusion to one of the best Stanley Cup finals we've seen in a long time.
One of the best Stanley Cup finals we've seen in a long time. Two of the best words in all of sports. Game 7. Let's go. And it's tonight. For Boston has entered the chat, I'm Travis Thomas. He's Khalin Kapoor. Enjoy Game 7 tonight. We'll see you next time. Peace.